Texas Flood Independence Day 2025. Fear the Lord. Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High, Yahawah, and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone taught me the truth. Single honors to the elect. Peace and bless to the 1/3. And to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth, Shalom. Devastating Central Texas flash flood, second deadliest in Texas history so far. For those of you who may not know, been a flash flood going on over there off of the Guadalupe River in Texas, and there's been a significant amount of damage done. People missing, people rescued, and also people who have been deceased. And as you can see on the right hand side of the screen, this is the majority of the victims. And just by contrast, you don't see a lot of melanin up in here. You know, it don't appear to be a lot of jakes up in here who were victims. That's not to say that any one of these people can't be, confusion of faces, like the scriptures say. But this is devastating. We talk about prophecy. We talk about judgment. This is judgment of the Lord, but it's devastating. I don't care what nationality, race you is, you found out your children are gone. I mean, you're going to be devastated. But at the end of the day, it's still the judgment of the Lord. And think about the irony of it all. This occurred on what day? Independence Day. That was in 1776 when America got its independence from Britain, if I'm not mistaken, the UK. During that time in 1776, we were still in hardcore bondage because we didn't get emancipated, or we didn't get freedom until 1865. So technically, almost 90 years we were still slaves during the Independence Day. So I want to put a little history on that. And to this day, we are still in the hands of our captives, right? So they'll say we're free. We're not free. You'll never be free. This entire world system is an Edomite supremacy. Some folks like the brother Tariq and he'll say white supremacy. I say Edomite supremacy. But nonetheless, so let's get to it. The death toll as of Monday at 1 p.m. of 90 fatalities makes the Central Texas flash floods on July 4th the second deadliest flood disaster in Texas history. And look, Thrall flood of 1921, 215 fatalities. For those of you who don't know, in 1981, what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma? The massacre, where Esau destroyed, leveled entire neighborhoods, and also murdered scores of our people. Yeah, that happened also in 1921. I guess 215 people died also during that year. And then you also had, the Guadalupe River flood and the Hurricane Harvey. But the reason why I'm bringing this out, man, is to put the fear into our people, to let you know that this is our power working. You got to remember, a lot has been going on spiritually in the essence, if you really think about it. I mean, let's go back to what is it? The largest slave plantation during the antebellum period. Remember, it went up in flames? It went up in flames. And then another plantation went up in flames as well. And remember, someone said something about that doll was moved. And it will move to Louisiana? Or was it Mississippi? Forgive me, y'all, where that plantation burned down. And they said they haven't found the doll yet. I'm not superstitious, but I'm spiritual, I'll tell you that much. So a lot of that's been going on too. You also had the this was like a slave statue that was put right outside across from the Capitol Hill. It's like, as much as Esau tries to erase their history or critical race theory, the Lord just keep reminding them and keep bringing judgment and judgment and judgment. You understand? Lake Lanier, also on 4th of July, people gathered there. A boat exploded. For people who don't know, Lake Lanier is also a lake that Esau had created, a man-made lake after they moved us out of that area. And ever since then, people say they actually have felt like an energy pulling them underwater. So, and water has memory, people. You know, so you got to remember, a lot of death, a lot of our ancestors' spirits are inside these waters. You know, if you ever go around certain waters, like in the deltas, in Louisiana, Mississippi, from what I hear from people, they say they can feel a certain energy, a certain essence there, you know. Let's go back to the Appalachian Mountains, if I'm not mistaken. Last year, we had the hurricane. Remember those sundown towns that got rained out? So you have to look at everything with the spiritual eye, and when you do that, you will spiritually connect things, you know. But once again, like I said, look at the victims, man. Nonetheless, the hill country is notorious for flash flooding, given the high number of narrow valley floors and proximity to potential tropical events from the Gulf. This event was partly triggered by the remnants of Tropical Storm Barry that hit Mexico on Sunday, June 29th. So just because we don't have hurricanes and they don't make landfall, that does not mean that the rainfall from those tropical storms will have a significant damage. It will have a significant impact and commit significant damage. Right? The atmosphere was loaded with water vapor from Barry that moved north into the middle parts of Texas. More than a foot of rain fell in less than 12 hours from Thursday to Friday morning. The massive rain fell over a large part of the western Guadalupe River basin. Kerrville and west into the town of Hunt are the headwaters of the river. So, in other words, 26 feet of water rose in 45 minutes, people. That's what you call the flash flood. A flash is like cutting on the light in the dead of night. That quick. A flash flood. So 26 feet of water rose in 45 minutes. How can you escape that? How? But hence, once again, Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And also Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 22. Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over me. So the Lord is saying, fear ye not me. The reason why the earth is not flooded, because I have created a decree. I have decreed a law, a statute to the waters to not flood the earth again. Hence, we have the ensign or the signet of the rainbow. The rainbow is a, what's the word of scripture use? It's a token. The rainbow is a token that the Lord will not flood the earth again. Though you will have flash floods, though you will have massive floods, though you will have places that get flooded out, the Lord said he will not flood the earth again. So whenever you have heavy rain, sometimes just look up in the sky and you'll see a beautiful rainbow. And don't go chasing it. There won't be any Lucky Charms that night or a pot of gold. All right? Nonetheless, fear the Lord. Yeah, so going back to this article, it says, I'm kind of in the middle of this paragraph. The danger was not over as torrential rains continued to pound communities outside San Antonio on Saturday, and flash flood warnings and watches remained in effect. You know, and can you imagine just the devastation, man? You know, to the point that you're so desperate that you will take a picture of your child and you would literally put your entire phone number out there, all 10 digits. That's desperation. I can't fathom what they're going through. But I know one thing. It's judgment. Amos 5:24. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Like it says in the book of Job, when has the innocent ever perished? I don't know these people from a can of paint. I'm not gonna be here to judge them just off of GP of them going out in such manner. But like the scripture says, when have the righteous ever perish? Remember, people, all criminals come in the form of an infant first, then they grow into that individual. So all them little Google Gaga babies, yeah, some of those turn out to be mass murderers or tyrannical dictators, you know. But nonetheless, I won't pass judgment as of now because I don't have that right to. But I know one thing. Whatever the Lord doeth, he doeth it in righteousness. He do it in righteousness. I'm going to close. I don't want to make this long, but once again, this is still very tragic, devastating, but it's just the judgment of the Lord, which is why you should fear him. Going back on Saturday, Abbott said that 850 people have been rescued in the past 36 hours. Dang. Rescuers scoured flooded riverbanks littered with mangled trees Saturday and turned over rocks in the search for more than 24 children from a girls' camp and many others missing after a wall of water blasted down a river in the Texas Hill Country. Martin said there are still unidentified victims at funeral homes, damn, including adults and children. At least 90 people are unalive and at least 10 are still missing from Camp Mystic in Kerr County. Oh, a children's summer camp. Was it Colonel Freeman Martin with the Texas Department of Public Safety said Sunday that there is, quote, no higher priority than finding those children, unquote. Their spirits in the heaven. But this is the thing about it, people. This is what's really, really so hard here. On Camp Mystic, where those girls was at, that was a Christian camp, y'all. The irony, right? That was a Christian camp, y'all. Let that sink in. That was a Christian camp. So, as much as they pray and they're lamenting, rightfully so, of course. It was all because of the Lord. At the end of the day, it was all because of the Lord, you know. Nonetheless, Psalm 68:20, he that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God the Lord belong the issues from death. So life and death come from the Lord. So this is just all the more on why we cleave unto YAHAWASHI as a part of the hopeful elect, because the Lord bring out judgment every day. And with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edifying, fast, stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Kwame Sha'Allah, Mafla Babal, Shalom.